Dr. Brooke has talked about the issue of teacher retention, and he's sent out a graph to the public saying that within 5 years, a new teacher, 47% of new teachers leave the system. Based upon your experience, why do you think that is, and what might you be able to do as a school board member to try to counteract that?
Why are they leaving? Frustration. Their hands are tied. They're not able to teach effectively as they want to teach. That's why I say we need to untie our teachers' hands and let them teach. They know the makeup of the class. They know the makeup of their classes. There are no two children that learn the same. And when you take a child and put them into a class and have a mix, you need to identify your achievers, your average, and your underachievers, and be able to work with the underachievers and bring them up while still maintaining the achievers and average people and try and move them up. By being flexible and giving the teacher the ability to teach in their classroom, and when help is needed, to give the help for those students that are underachievers. When I was on, when you read my biography, when I was on the school board at the community college, I instituted what was called, I was very adamant in putting in a learning lab. This was for students coming into the college or to the career programs that did not have the basic English and math skills. Instead of putting them in a classroom, we had the learning lab, which was computer generated, where they could sit at a terminal. They would enroll in the class and stay in the class as long as it took for them to graduate. There were teacher assistants there to assist them when they had problems, but it was basically, if you want to spend every day 8 hours a day on this one subject matter and do it in 2 weeks, fine. If you wanted to take a year, fine. But when you left that program, you had the basics. We need to implement and supplement our education with these type of programs. We have the technology to do it. There's a great program set up by a gentleman, I think his name was Phelan, F-A-H-N. He did it for his niece who had problems with math, where he did it on YouTube, where he sat down, had an easel, and worked out problems for her. People started going to that and hitting that, where he had millions of people all over the world. Bill Gates just gave him a large sum of money to expand his program, and it's all free, into the classrooms. So they're now doing programs both in math and in languages, where the teacher can sit and monitor what the classroom is doing when they have iPods on each student and as a class as a whole, and help them out. We're helping our children and using the technology. They can take it at home and do it at home. We have to start reinforcing educational values. And this is one way that we can do it.
Dr. Burke celebrates his 1-year anniversary on July 1st. How would you rate Dr. Burke as a superintendent? Is he effective? Why? And if not, why?
I think he's effective, but I think he's also meeting a lot of resistance from the old guard. People do not like change. But if we are going to move our education up the notch that Dr. Burke says, we have to institute change, because that's the only way that we can achieve raising our standard is through change. And people resist change unless they can embrace it. And his job is to go out and convince our principals, vice principals, our teachers, of the change and how it's going to affect them and how it's going to help. And he's doing this. I don't think he's fully got it completed. I like his idea of going into zones and having the 3 zones and those schools within that zone report to a head. And those 3 heads then report back to him. What we're doing is decentralizing our school system and putting more control down at the local level, which is, I think, better. It gives them more latitude, and that's what we need to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That was going to be my question. You know, we talked about things in the paper today, and that was one of them today. So, thank you for that.
We have about 5 minutes left of the interview. So, any questions or any thoughts that we haven't addressed that you'd like to speak about?
What I'm hopeful when I get on the board is that the board can start working together with ideas. When I was with AT&T, going back to my business career, we worked as teams. We came in to our customers and say, okay, you have a problem, let's find out what the issues are and address them and bring them up on a team level. My ideas may not be the same as your ideas, but your ideas and my ideas might be kind of compatible, and then we can merge them together and come up with a better idea. And then you could add some more input into those ideas and expand them, and so forth. This is what the board needs to do, to be the cohesiveness of the school system, to sit down, listen to the ideas, bring them all together and come up with a solution that works. Now, is every school going to be the same? No. As I said before, no 2 children will learn at the same level. We have to have flexibility. Not every child is going to go into STEM in college. Some are going to go into careers. If we didn't have electricians, air conditioning technicians, plumbers, where would you be when you needed your air conditioning fixed? You don't have the knowledge to do it. We need to be able to embrace all people and prepare them for the education. The other thing that I see the board doing is going out into the business community and finding out what their needs are. Because once we can address their needs and tailor our education, their needs into the education system, we then better prepare our students to go out and find those good paying jobs. When I was at the Education Summit, and they said that Paul said that he would not hire anybody, Allergen, from the Lee County school system or the state of Florida because they are not educated. That was a slap in the face. We need to change that philosophy and say that we can give you the better students to come in and work in your establishment.
Thank you. Any final questions? Mr. Schafer, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and best of success to you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.